And the whole point is I want to rock and embrace my curls that I've had since I was a little girl. So I am wanting to really rock my natural hair and keep it down. It takes a lot of work, but we also want it to feel like self-care and feel like a ritual. And I have been loving it. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through my entire hair care process, what I do before my shower, what I do during my shower, and then what I do after to really get the curls the way I want, to really be able to embrace my mane and my natural hair. And specifically, this video is also going to be helpful for anyone who has curly, frizzy prone hair, dry hair, and also like a flaky, sensitive scalp. So for context, I'm Indian, I've got an Indian mane. We've usually got pretty coarse hair, I would say, that's on the curlier side. But growing up, I always wanted straight hair. So sometime around middle school and high school, when I could get a flat iron, when my mom let me, and when I would use it, I would always straighten my hair, and I'd wake up really early to be able to do that. But also, since I was a lot younger, I always had on and off scalp issues. But after seeing a hair trichologist, which I learned is someone who is specialized in scalp and scalp health, I learned that sometimes my scalp is running too dry, and then sometimes there's growths because it's just getting too oily. And so mine is very sensitive, where it's very prone to getting dry, but also if I don't wash it for too long, like a lot of people try to only wash their hair once a week. I tried that, but in certain weather and seasons, and depending on if I'm working out and sweating, then that creates too much of a buildup in my scalp. So there's a lot of variables, but right now we're in the thick of winter. It's January 2025, and my scalp is feeling very sensitive, even getting a little scabby. We have the Santa Ana wind, so if you're in California, you know what that is. So I'm gonna do an oil mask today, which is what I strive to do once a week anyways, regardless of how my scalp is acting up, to really just nurture, also stimulate hair growth. And then I take oil through all of my hair because my hair runs more dry. So I really want to just make sure it basically has a full-on oil mask. And then I wash it out very thoroughly. And then I'll take you through my whole process on how to get the waves and curls more intact as opposed to more frizzy. Okay, starting off with the oil that I'm about to massage into my scalp. There's a lot of controversy around what specific oil works for hair. I've heard a lot about how coconut oil can actually cause more dandruff and scalp buildup. So I haven't ever really been using coconut oil, although I know in India people love using coconut oil for the hair. I will say also though that my scalp actually is really at its prime and feeling a lot more nourished in places like Florida or India or tropical places where there's a lot of humidity in the air. But in a coastal desert-like climate like California or places like Alaska, where it's pretty dry and can get cold, my scalp gets pretty sensitive. And I really need to use a thicker, more nurturing oil. The most ideal oil that is also recommended from Ayurveda, which is an ancient Indian health science, is sesame oil, which is amazing for soothing the skin, just oiling up, massaging the skin, but also for the hair and the scalp. So if you have more time, more patience, I would actually recommend even lightly heating up this oil. Make sure it's not boiling or anything, and then really massage it and let it penetrate the scalp. And it's so healing just for overall lymph drainage, but also for really stimulating hair growth and nurturing and moisturizing the scalp. Today, I'm going to take you through the other oils that I use on a more regular basis that don't require the heating up. So this is Milky Locks. It's a HoneyMoo product, which I highly recommend. I have a code in the description if you'd like to use it. But essentially, it's rosemary oil, and this specific blend does have a few other things. It has goat's milk, castor oil, jojoba oil, hibiscus, and oat straw. But if you prefer not to order this, you can also just go on Amazon and order an organic rosemary oil and then use something like castor oil or jojoba oil or even olive oil as a carrier so that it's a little bit more diluted and it's not the straight rosemary oil. So this is the one that I'm really going to just be massaging right into my scalp. And then I'm not always a Costco fan. It really depends on what I'm trying to get in bulk, but I did get a huge huge organic extra virgin olive oil. And the reason, because this is really incredible for my skin. My skin just soaks it up and it feels the most nourished with olive oil. All other oils feel like they don't moisturize my skin enough. My skin does run really dry. And then this I also just take through all of my hair. So I use this one for my scalp, but then I take this oil and I really take it through my hair. And then I'm just gonna let that sit in my hair for a few hours and then I'll be washing it out. Okay, so just starting with the scalp right now. The dropper is nice because you can just really take it through your scalp. Okay, so once I've taken the dropper through most of my scalp, then I will take my hands and really massage it in. Sometimes I have a bad habit of picking at my scalp, especially when it's dry and flaky. Don't do that, because then that's when it gets irritated and it turns scabby or pink. So you really want to massage it in, but something that my hair trichologist, I will leave her information below, because if you're in San Diego, I highly recommend her. Her name's Leeanne. She used to actually just do coloring and haircuts, and she's still the only person I trust to do my haircuts because I like keeping my hair long. But she's really transitioned to being a specialized hair trichologist. And so if you are dealing with just like a lot of flakiness, you're gonna do this technique where you're just rubbing it. And basically she said when you're rubbing it, it just helps lift the flakes off the hair. Used to be very embarrassed about this. I honestly still am, but I know that a lot of people just struggle with scalp health, and honestly, meeting Leeanne and realizing like she was specializing in scalp health, I was like, dang, that totally makes sense that there's a hair niche for it. And she was telling me like how many clients she has coming in with scalp problems. So if you are dealing with this, you're not the only one, I promise. And what's like my struggle is that when I want to go through my scalp, but I have the curly hair, oftentimes it just makes it more frizzier because I have to move it all around. So I'm consistently really finding the hair regimen that works, where I can really nurture my scalp and make sure I'm not feeling like all flaky, but I can also really create my curls intact. So I will show you that after my shower. Okay, so now I have my hair in two parts, and I'm going to take this olive oil and I am going to do a decent amount on my hand. Really depends on the day and how much time you have, but today I'm home all day and I just really want to give my hair a deep oil mask. Once a week is the ideal, I think, just for overall hair growth. But if you have scalp stuff, if your hair is really prone to getting dry, but you want to really create longevity and have it be as healthy as possible and keep growing long, then the once a week is ideal. Another random thing about growing your hair long and haircuts. So for the longest time, I wouldn't cut my hair because I would hear a lot of people say, well, if you want long hair, then just don't cut it. But it's a little bit different for people who have really coarse, dry hair. Because when you brush it, or just from just dryness, your hair is going to be prone to more split ends and breakage. I don't even use a flat iron or heat on my hair. Very, very rarely these days that I do, but even with way less heat, I still get split ends and breakage. And so when your hair consistently breaks, then it's not actually getting long, it's just breaking. So she recommended me even the tiniest little trim every 6 months, and I've been doing that consistently for a year and a half now, and seriously, my hair's grown the longest it has in several years. Like, it used to just plateau, but now I'll get a better shot later. It's just actually growing long and feeling still thick at the bottoms. It used to just get crazy thin and dry. So I feel like after, even another half a year or a full year, continuing to stay on top of those trims, and the hair oil masks will just continue to create like really thick, lush hair and have the ends look amazing too. Okay, hair is all oiled up. So if your hair is not too long, not too heavy, and it doesn't give you a headache if it's at a bun at the top of your head, then that one's nice because you can go about leaning on the couch or doing things and you don't have to worry about oil getting all over. Sometimes a bun works for me and sometimes it feels like too much. So if you also have the space, maybe you put a towel behind wherever you're sitting and then you can just do a braid. And sometimes I do both. I'll maybe keep it in a bun for a little bit while I do things around the house, and then I'll take it out, give myself more massages so I just consistently have blood flow, and I'm just really letting that oil penetrate the scalp, massaging it into the hair, and then maybe I'll braid it for another hour. So in total, I'll probably keep the oil in for max 3 hours, but minimum an hour or so. And then I will try to still shower when the sun is out, because especially during the winter, if you're just getting really cold, your hair stays too damp after the sun has gone down. It's just not optimal. Okay, it's now shower time. I feel like the oil really sunk in. I ended up keeping it in a braid the whole time because I was doing some video editing, had a phone call, made a late lunch. The oil feels really good. Hair feels soft. I am going to really scrub deeply. Sometimes on like the hair oil mask days, if the oil doesn't fully come out, it just feels like almost like a leave-in conditioner. So I think that's fine if the oil is not fully out. I'm going to show you the shampoo that I have been using. It is not like my end-all be-all shampoo. I'm open to trying out other shampoos. This is just a recommendation I got, so not sponsored or anything, but just wanted to show you because I do like the fact that it's a shampoo bar and it is focused on flaky scalp and dry hair. Okay, so here's the shampoo. It's from a brand called SuperZero, and this one specifically is for flakes and itches. They have a few different types of shampoo bars and conditioner bars for different hair types, different scalp issues, dryness, all of that. This also says it has tea tree oil and it's a bond builder. I got one of these things because with a shampoo bar, you don't want it to just sit in wetness because then it'll start to crumble apart. And this is the shampoo bar. It lathers up really nice, which is one of the reasons I like it. And then after I'm done, I just let it dry. They also give you a bag so that if it does crumble apart, then you can continue to get that lather in really good. So also about once a week, I use this hair wash, hair mask. It is incredible. It seems like a really small company. They have it at some very small health food stores. These aren't in any stores near me, so I just ordered directly from the website. It's called Terressentials, and it literally has such incredible clean ingredients. I just feel like it's a really amazing nature mask, like filled with really nourishing stuff for your hair and scalp. So it has organic aloe vera juice, bentonite clay, organic extracts of organic linden flower, organic nettle, organic chamomile, organic shave grass, essential oils of organic lavender, sweet orange, ylang ylang, clove bud, and they have different types of scents. This one's the lavender one, but they have one called the sultry spice, and I love that one too. So this one I don't do very often. I do it about once a week or once every 1.5 weeks. But this I found when I just put it into my hair and I don't really do any conditioner along with it. You have to really take time to wash it out, but my curls are like amazing after this. If you ever try this out, let me know what you think. Along with this shampoo, I also use this conditioner, and sometimes I use a conditioner from the Desert Essence brand. Again, I'm not attached to the shampoo and conditioner. I am on the lookout for a shampoo and conditioner that is ideal for my scalp and hair type, but the hair mask, the Terressentials one, is the one that I love. It's just not technically a shampoo or conditioner. So for the scalp problems, I think there are so many nuances there. Sometimes like over scrubbing your hair can dry it out, and then sometimes under scrubbing it can neglect really thoroughly washing it and getting out all the gunk that might cause any type of dandruff or buildup. I do feel like a shower filter is definitely necessary because you just don't know what's coming out of tap water. So we have this installed, and I do feel like that at least I can depend on ensures that the water quality and whatever is like continuously hitting my scalp several days a week is the highest quality possible. Okay, shower complete. The moments after the shower are a very sensitive time. I used to comb my hair after it was dry, and that would lead to so much breakage because it would be all like curly, frizzy, and then I'm trying to comb through it. I don't know if it's just because I've used to iron the fronts of my hair so much, but it just already clumps up like this, even with conditioner. And so I always comb from the bottom, and I just have to really make this like a meditative practice. Yeah, as gentle as possible. This is definitely why you want more time. You don't want to do this process rushed because you don't want to further break your hair. But I have a love-hate relationship with this portion of my hair care routine because sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than others. This part's still a little bit natty. So basically what this is doing is that even though it'll continue to get curly again, at least any knots are combed through so that when it dries, it has curls, but it's not all knotty and matty. So in the summer, I don't have to do this, but since it's winter and it's almost nighttime, I will blow dry my hair, except when I blow dry, I don't do it right on my scalp. I do it kind of like away, or I hold out my hair and go up. And I try to do the cool setting or sometimes the warm setting, but yeah, definitely not on the scalp because that's exactly what's gonna dry it out. And then that allows for just the scalp to not feel so much wetness, and then you won't have any bumps or anything forming like that. Then after I blow dry and it's a little bit drier, then I just let it air dry until it's fully dry, and then I braid it. Post blow drying hair, hair is still quite damp. I just let this fully dry out. Okay, my hair is completely dry. I've got my infrared red light on. Anytime I'm braiding my hair or doing gua sha, facial sculpting, self-massage, or I've got the massage gun on, I try to throw this light on, especially when it's close to the morning or bedtime. Just kind of gets me in the mood because I mentioned that like taking care of your hair or skin, especially when you have a lot of it or you've got some type of condition like flaky scalp or just coarse dry hair, it takes a lot of work, but we also want it to feel like self-care and feel like a ritual. And so even just like looking back at my content when I was combing my hair, and I'm like, I could have gone way more gentler, but when I do it so many times a week and so often, it can allow me to get impatient. So it's really a mirror of just like how slow can we be just in life. Tangent there. Yeah, my hair is fully dry, so it is very normal for it to be like extra fluffy and poofy, and you could totally rock this look. But for me personally, I really like the beach waves and like still embracing my true curly hair, but sometimes, especially when you blow dry your hair, it can feel a little bit extra poofed up. So I wouldn't say this is like my total natural state of hair. So you can kind of decide what part you like. I actually just flip my hair, so I don't really have like a middle part or a side part. But with the braiding, you want to kind of figure out the part that you lean most towards. So even though I flip my hair, it would be like mostly a side part, and then you are going to part your hair that way and then braid it. If you have really long hair and you want it to be as wavy curly as possible, but still very calm looking and not as poofy, which is the look I like, then you are going to do 2 French braids. If you don't know how to braid, I would recommend looking up a video and really mastering that, and it can feel really, really fun. My mom used to braid my hair ever since I was a kid growing up, and she taught me at a certain point because I wanted to braid my own hair. And yeah, I guess I learned French braids too, but we're not going for any like perfection here, but we are just really using the braids, which are going to kind of like train our hair into a more smoother, wavy, curly look. So I do 2 parts, but if you have shorter hair or if 2 braids, it does take a lot more time, then you can just do 1 French braid. If you were sleeping on your hair, I notice that when I have 1 French braid, it feels like I have like a bump that I'm sleeping towards. So when I have 2 French braids, I feel like I can just completely keep the hair out of my face, but I'm also not like sleeping on a braid. You can also just do like no French braid and just braid your hair down. But if you have shorter pieces of hair like I do, that's why I need the French braid, because by the morning time, all of these guys will be coming out of my full-on braid. So the French braid, I feel like it's the best one that works. You can keep it a little looser. I don't like to keep the braid too tight because I don't like too much pulling, and it just keeps the waves more relaxed rather than like kind of crimpy, if that makes sense. And since my hair is very thin at the bottom, I actually don't really need to put a hair tie. I just kind of leave it, and if it unravels by itself, that's okay. I kind of like the ends kind of just smooth and relaxed. Okay, going on to the other side. I actually never get to see the back angle of my braids, so here we go. back angle of the French braids, and I have been loving it because, yeah, especially when I sleep, my hair is just out of the way and all of my hair stays together. It's the next morning. I am getting some infrared red light. I'm gonna be taking these out now. It's been several hours, like I slept with these braids. Because my hair is really thin at the bottom, I don't even need to do a hair tie. I do feel like if you are doing a hair tie, you want to make sure it's really light so it's not just like breaking the hair, because I feel like when people do hair ties at the bottom of the hair, that's where it's actually continuing to create more breakage. Usually coarse, thick, wavy, curly hair, it's really good at like taking whatever shape or forming however it needs. So although my hair is frizzy prone, whenever I straighten it, then it just like takes that form. It does create a wave, but it's like, okay, we're hanging out here for a while. So same with the braids, it just takes that form. So you can see now that my hair is a lot more formed into these waves, and just over the course of the day, it will relax a little bit more. And so far, it's just completely freshly showered hair, but usually the morning after the braids, I do put a tiny bit of oil, and I really just do a light layer, but it's just to really take away any of the frizzy flyaways and keep the hair moisturized. I try not to put the oil near my scalp at all though, because I only do the oil near the scalp when I'm about to shower. That way there's no excess buildup, especially if I'm not washing my hair for like usually 2 days now. I've been washing my hair every 2 days about. So yeah, this is the product for now, but I will show you kind of like a finished product in about 2 hours. I'm gonna be out for the day, so I am wanting to like, yeah, really rock my natural hair and keep it down, but also style it a little bit without an iron or anything. If you do iron any parts of your hair, don't ever iron it when there's oil on it, because it'll basically like fry your hair. That's what it'd be doing with the oil. So don't do that. Make sure there's no oil on it. Now I will just probably put my hair up for an hour or so while I make breakfast. Alright, I got ready for the day. This is what the finished product is looking like. I guess I keep wearing black, so you can't really see the distinction between my shirt and my hair sometimes, but it's feeling very shiny, very soft. My scalp wasn't feeling very flaky, just like a tiny bit agitated, but so much better when I take time to do the like deep penetrative oil mask on my scalp. So really happy with that. Yeah, I mentioned a little while ago too, I have like so many baby hairs I've noticed that are like growing, so I feel like really massaging that Milky Locks Rosemary oil has been definitely helping with overall hair growth. There's also an incredible hair elixir that you put droplets of in your drinks or whatever, your water, from HoneyMoo as well. So I have been just incorporating that elixir and really putting rosemary in my broths. Rosemary is just incredible for so many female functions, but also for hair growth. I think also making sure you're getting your vital animal proteins in, your collagen sources, all of that really makes for healthy skin, hair. But then, you know, once the hair has grown, you want to continue to nurture the hair that is growing so that it can continue to be long and not dry out, because once it's dried out, it is so hard, almost impossible to revive. I'm curious your guys' experience with keratin treatments. I used to get them way back in the day, but because of how my hair is, it really only lasts like 2 months, so it just feels like a very expensive way to upkeep the hair, and I don't necessarily want my curls to be smoothed out, which is what a keratin treatment is also doing. It kind of just makes it a little bit straighter, just more wavier, and the whole point is I want to rock and embrace my curls that I've had since I was a little girl. So this is what we're working with here. It's a lot of work and time over the week, but if you can really create like a self-care nurturing process, just the massaging of the scalp, there's so many benefits just throughout your entire body. It's not just for your scalp and your hair. If you enjoyed the hair focused content or kind of when I share my process, let me know and I can definitely see what I can scrounge up to share more of. Taking a peep into what the lifestyle of a long mane Indian girl is like. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon in a future video.